Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Brian Laufer and I am the Vice President here at QuoteWerks. Today, we are going to be talking about all the new features we added in QuoteWerks version 5.7 builds 3 and 4. If you're on an older build or version, you can easily update to the latest just by installing version 5.7 build 4. You do not need to install incremental updates. When you install an update, you receive all the features and fixes available to you and available up to and including the build you installed. Just a little housekeeping before we get started here. We will be recording this webinar and it will be posted on our YouTube channel with links on our website and social media. If you have questions during this webinar, feel free to ask them in the GoToWebinar toolbar questions box as we go along here. If there are any questions that I do not answer throughout the demo, I will do my best to answer them towards the end. They can be about these releases or QuoteWerks in general. If you think of a question after the webinar, or if I do not fully answer your question, make sure to email or give us a call. The best way to get a hold of me regarding this webinar would be community@quoteworks.com or events@quoteworks.com. All right, so we're gonna have a short PowerPoint presentation here to discuss some of the new features here, and then we're going to actually demo QuoteWerks with some of those new features, followed up by questions, of course. These builds have 51 new features, 9 miscellaneous features, and of course fixes. We're not going to cover all 51 new features. I don't think you guys would want to sit through that entire webinar, but we are going to touch on a lot of them. All right, so we had a lot of integration updates. QuoteWerks has over 55 different integrations, and that doesn't include all the different credit card gateways that we integrate with. So a lot of times when we come out with updates, they're going to have to do with the different integrations. The biggest one for most of you is going to be the QuickBooks Desktop 2023 integration. So we now support 2023. If you use QuickBooks Online with that subscription, obviously we support that as well. We added support for SugarCRM 12 and 12.1. GoldMine 2022.2 and 2022.3, Maximizer CRM 2022 R1, and then we had some ConnectWise Manage updates as well as some other small integration updates as well. Oops. All right, so QuoteWerks has integrated with Act4Web since 2009. At that time, Act4Web did not have an API, so we created a utility that was installed on the IIS server itself. This worked great, but it limited which Act users could use QuoteWerks with Act4Web. We completely rewrote the Act4Web integration using their API that finally had all the functionality that we needed as developers. This new integration allows QuoteWerks to be used not only by self-hosted Act4Web users, but those hosted by partners and even those that are hosted by Act itself. And the other thing that's really key here is that this integration has all of the same functionality as Act Desktop did. All right. So with some of these new features that you're going to be seeing, we had to rewrite the entire integration. The biggest, of course, was Autotask. They are going to be discontinuing their old API soon. So we had to completely rewrite the entire integration from scratch. You guys really won't see that much difference because the API calls behave very similarly. But a lot of stuff had to happen under the hood to make that work. Also, one of the things that people have been asking for that do use Autotask is we added support for service bundles now finally. So you'll actually be able to search Autotask for service bundles, use them in your quotes, and then write them back to the opportunity or quote as well. Just like Autotask, we had to completely rewrite our integration with Bluestar. Bluestar is one of our IT distributor integrations that we have for pricing and availability. Benefit of this new integration is that now Bluestar Canada users will now be able to use it in addition to Bluestar USA users. Also, Bluestar is now included in the part locator. What we were doing before is just blindly with every single Utilize call, just saying, hey, Blue Star, do you have this item? Now we don't do that. It's part of our part locator. So we're going to specifically only request parts from Blue Star that we know Blue Star has. So the benefit of that is those calls will be faster when it comes to integrating with Blue Star. Again, like Blue Star and Autotask, we rewrote the entire ScanSource API, ScanSource integration using their new API. Benefit here, there's three here. The list price is now returned. So when we when we select the item to retrieve it from ScanSource, the list price will be included. Also, in addition to what ScanSource has in stock, we're going to get their on order quantities as well. So if you need more than what they have in stock, you might be able to see that more is coming soon. So that would be helpful when it comes to creating your quotes and forecasting. And the other thing that's really cool is right from the Utilize panel, you'll be able to link directly to that item on ScanSource's website. So you can click on the link, it'll bring it up, and you'll be able to see everything that ScanSource has about that item. New functionality that we have, if you work with Arrow Electronics, those quotes that you get from your distributor contact there, or your reseller contact, they're going to actually be able to be imported directly into your quote workbook. So what that means is, say you say, hey, Arrow sales rep, I need you to configure this system for me or be able to do this functionality. They'll be able to put that quote together, give you that quote number, and you'll be able to click on the button, put that in, and it'll retrieve all those line items right into your quote and QuoteWerks. In addition to that, you can do it by a date range as well. So if you don't have to know what the quote number is, you can see all of your active quotes for Arrow Electronics. One downside is Arrow is slowly rolling this out to partners. So if you don't already have access to the Arrow API, you may need to request that, and for assistance with that, you can send an email to support@quoteworks.com, and we can definitely assist you with that. I've been talking a lot about IT stuff as well as stuff for ACT users. Something that everybody has been wanting is the ability to have a bulleted list in your description. This is something that we've finally added into QuoteWerks. It works in QuoteWerks Web as well as in QuoteWerks Desktop, and you can save it out as a PDF, and it'll also work on QuoteValet as well. And I'll show you how easy it is to use this. But basically, it's just Control-Shift-L, and it'll add that bullet for you. The other feature that I think is going to be very helpful for everybody is the fact that now you can show and hide different workbook elements. So what does that actually mean? Well, you have the main toolbar, the quick lookup toolbar, the documents bar, and the totals for all items. We have the ability to hide any one or combination of those items. So why is that important? Well, the totals for all items bar has your cost on it. So if you're working in front of a customer, you don't want them to see that. So you can very easily hide that if you wanted to. Also, depending on your laptop, you may not have a great screen resolution, so you may only be able to see a few line items on your quote. Well, if you go to a very minimal mode, you could see much more of the items on your quote. So that's something that's definitely helpful. Also, if you're one of those people that gets distracted easily, you can hide pretty much almost everything as far as the UI is concerned, and that'll be helpful for you as well. In addition to being able to do it on the fly, you can also default this per user, and that's just under the Tools, My Preferences menu. Now, this isn't going to be like a security feature, but it is something that will allow you to have that defaulted when you start QuoteWerks. And we'll definitely show you exactly how that works here. Like I said before, we're not going to go over all 51 new features. If you want to see what features were specifically added in each build, you can go to our website under support and then updates. And then we're very transparent as far as what is in each update. So you can see all the new features and builds. You may have seen we moved offices recently. It was a very large undertaking as this was our first move in over 18 years. Not only will this new office benefit our employees, but it'll also benefit our customers and partners as well. It'll give us more opportunities to meet in person as well as virtually, and you'll start seeing more webinars from us as well. So get ready, there's going to be a lot more coming from us. If you are attending IT Nation Connect in a few weeks in Orlando, Florida, there are going to be plenty of opportunities to meet with our team. We are co-sponsoring the MSP Block Party the Wednesday night of Connect. It's free to attend. There'll be shuttles to and from the event hotel, free drinks, and there's even going to be a live band. You may have heard of them, the All American Rejects. It's going to be a pretty awesome event. We've got a link on our website. I'll show you that at the very end of the webinar. So you can see how to do that, sign up for it. And we'll also be at Connect if you want to schedule a one-on-one meeting with myself or my team. And we'll have links, like I said, on the website for that. So our next version of QuoteWerks is coming out very soon. I'm very excited about it. You'll be seeing some stuff coming out in the next few weeks here. If you haven't done so already, if there are new features that you would really like to see, on our support portal, you have the ability to make feature requests. We're very active at the end of the year, so like November, December timeframe, and then around February, March, as far as implementing these features. So definitely, if you have a feature request, the way to have it be looked at by our development team is to put it on our support portal. If you've got multiple requests, make sure you do them as separate requests. So don't put like, here are the 5 things I really want to see in QuoteWerks. Have 5 separate requests. The benefit of this is that our development team can ask questions of you as well as other people in the community to have a best solution that we can do. And you can include like pictures and mock-ups and stuff like that as well. Before we go into the live demo, I just want to make sure that you know what is available to you. If you have questions, you can always call or email us. For support, it's just support@quoteworks.com. That'll create a ticket for you. But if it is more time sensitive, you can pick up the phone and give us a call. We are available. Likewise, on the sales side, if you're like, you don't use QuoteValet and you want to get a trial of it, we can do a 30-day trial. You can just send an email or give us a call. We also have videos, help documentation, live and recorded webinars. We have professional services, and we have our annual user summit as well. So that's just some of the resources that are available to you. So just before we get started here, a reminder, this webinar will be recorded. And if you have questions, make sure to ask them. It'll definitely help us go along here and make sure that, if I miss something small, you can definitely let me know and I'll make sure to cover that. Also at the end, if there's any other types of questions that you want, I'll open it up and you can ask from there. And if you're not already following us on social media, I invite you to do so. We do lots of things, as far as new features that are out there, events that we're at, and just fun stuff as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started here. Okay. So to start off with, let me make this a little smaller here. All right. So something you may have noticed right away, the quote, order, or invoice, that has moved. That used to be a little bit further down here. So it was down in basically where my mouse is. Hopefully you can see that. So what that means is now as you move tabs, you know what type of document you're on, and that's huge. Also, if like the document is, let's see, expired, so if we change this to 2021, you'll notice that it turned red. So now I know, no matter what tab I'm on, I know that I'm working on an expired quote and I need to do something with that. So it's helpful on that side. Also, we talked about the bullets or the bullet functionality. So to use that, what you can do is you can double click on the description field. You can use memo fields or whatnot. You could say, this item includes these items as well. You do this, that, the other thing. So let's go ahead and do that. And what we can do is highlight this and then hold down Control, Shift, and L, and now we've got bullets. It's something that is going to be very helpful when it comes to presenting like a detailed list, or if you're working in like a grouped bundle, having that in the header might be something that would be helpful for you as well. Now, it's not just in the on the quote workbook here. If we were to go to our products and we go to our products and I think widget, probably have a lot of widgets. There we go. So I've got this one here, it's called bullet. If I double click on it and add it, here's the bullet, and there we go. It's got the bullets already included in it. So that way, if we were to go ahead and say preview this now, and maybe this one and preview. You can see that now we have our different bullets for these items. Okay, and then we were talking about the show hide when it comes to different functionality here, and what we're talking about is this button right here, and it's show hide window elements. And the most common thing that we found that people would want to hide is going to be the totals for all items. So what you can do is if I click on this, you'll notice the totals bar just disappeared. If I click it back, it'll bring it back. Now, you do have the ability to hide the main toolbar, so these big icons across the top, you can hide that if you want to. Click on the link again, and it brings it right back. If you don't use the quick lookup, so maybe you're not searching for products using that, you can go ahead and hide that if you want to. One of the newer features we added was the documents bar. So that's this bar across the top here. So if you've got multiple documents open, so now I can switch between these two different documents if I wanted to, but maybe I don't like that. So what I can do is I can click on the show hide documents bar, and now that bar is gone, and I can switch between the different quotes by clicking on the different window options there as well. Now, in my example before where I was talking about, well, maybe your screen resolution is really small on your laptop, you may want to go to a very minimal mode. And what that does is it automatically hides everything that we can possibly hide and still be functional within QuoteWerks here. The only thing we can't get rid of are the tabs, the menu, and then the mini toolbar. And the reason we can't get rid of the mini toolbar is because that's how we're going to bring everything right back, just like that. And like I said before, this is something that you can default on a user basis. And you can do that under the tools, My Preferences menu. And if I go to miscellaneous here, you'll see I have hide documents bar, hide main toolbar, quick lookup, and then totals for all items frame. Now, if I were to have any of those hidden, I'd still have the ability to click on here and bring it back. So that's, again, this is not a security feature, it's just a UI thing. Okay. And since we're talking about the mini toolbar here, you'll notice that we've got a little A here, just like we do for Tech Data, Ingram, Dell, Synnex. You can click on the arrow button here, and it'll bring up a window, and this would show you all quotes that you have available for you through Arrow. I don't have any quotes, so I can't really, I don't have anything to show you, unfortunately, but you can request certain date ranges or a specific quote number as well. And we do have some very simple setup for that, and that's under the Tools Options menu. And then under Real-Time and Real-Time Setup. And then we'll go under Other Real-Time, and if we scroll down just a little bit here, you'll see we have Arrow Electronics here. So there are a few options. So you have different fields that you can put that information in. So like if you want to bring in the quote number from Arrow into each line item, you can do that. And you can specify which field in QuoteWerks on that line item would have that information. Same thing with the expiration date. if the manufacturer has a quote number that it could go in there, as well as like the line item that item was on that Arrow quote. And that's helpful when you're talking to your sales rep. That's actually a feature that Arrow requested that we added. Since we're in here, we do have the new setup options for Blue Star, as well as with ScanSource. If your integrations aren't working up after the update, you may need to enter or request new creds. I think the Blue Star ones are the same. The only thing that you'll have to do is just add your customer number. And then for ScanSource, there are a few more things that you'll have to add. But we do have a very easy way to obtain your credentials. You can just click on this link right here. It's going to bring you to the ScanSource API site. And you just go to sign in and then partner sign in, and then you'll do sign up now. It's very simple. That'll go through the process and you can sign up for new creds with ScanSource. All right, I think that's that. When it comes to Autotask and the service bundles, it's very easy to set up. The one thing you'll want to do is add a new item type. So for me, I added a new item type called service bundle. And to do that, you just double click or hit the F2 button within the item type, click on new, and you can type in your new item. Like I said, I've got service bundle. And the reason I created that is if I go under contacts, set up contact manager, go to Autotask here, and Autotask setup. There are two things that you need to do in order to have access to those service bundles, which I'll show you here. If we go to product data source here, you'll notice that we now have a fourth option, which is in the third spot for some reason. We have Autotask Service Bundle Database. And you'll want to make sure that you have a QuoteWerks item type there. And the reason behind that is if you don't set that, then we're not going to set it back as being a service bundle when we put it back into Autotask. So you just need to make sure that you select the item type of service bundle or whatever one you want to create that specifically says, hey, all of these types of items are Autotask service bundles. Then lastly, what you'll need to do is under the products, set up product sources. You'll just need to add a Autotask services bundle. You just click on new, and you'll just click on the services bundle and click your way through that. Pretty easy. So to use it, all you got to do is click on products, and you can go to your Autotask service bundles. So if you're an Autotask user, now you will have 4 different product sources, one for products, one for services, one for labor, and now your Autotask service bundles as well. So you can either, typically you're not going to have a lot of service bundles, but you have the ability to search by description or the part number. You can also click on show all. That'll go out and get all of them. One thing that we did do is add a column here for date created, and that's helpful because you have an idea of how old that service bundle is. So you may have some really old service bundles in there, like these that are from 2009. So I can see I've got some more recent ones in here. So we've got this new one here. I can go ahead and add it. And now I've got my new service bundle here. And something that's good to note is you can see what the recurring is, if it's monthly or annually, you can see that there as well. All right. Kind of went through this pretty quickly here. So the next thing I want to do is talk about the Act for Web integration. It is a complete rewrite, like I said. The benefit of this is that now you can use Act no matter who is hosting it. The key is specifically if you have a customer or you yourself have the subscription through Act directly, you'll now be able to integrate with that. So if I close this and we'll just do a new document here, I'll go to Contact, set up Contact Manager, select Act for Web here. You'll need to know your Act Web API URL. By default, if you're using the Act hosted, you're probably going to use this one, so you can copy and paste that. You'll need to know your database. If you don't know that, that's okay, and I'll show you why in just a moment. Each user will need to put in their own credentials. And once you do that, you'll be able to click on the lightning bolt here, and it'll actually go out to Act and get the known database for that user. So that way it kind of saves you a little bit of time and setup. Speaking of setup, the Act for Web setup, you just click on this. If you already use Act Desktop, this is going to look very similar to you. So we have some very basic setup. I'm not going to go through all of the setup options, but some key things that people need to know. If you want your line items written back to your opportunity, just make sure you select this radial button here. Likewise, if you want your cost included, make sure you check that checkbox. You can select where you want your activities attached to. Do you want to attach the opportunity or the contact? And lastly, you'll want to do the same thing under attachments as well. So if I click on OK, I'm all set up now with Act. So I can go ahead and do a search. I'll do a search for Joe's Brewing here. There it is. So I can go ahead and retrieve that. And something that is very nice is actually if I clear this, we do have the ability to create new contacts in Act. And you just click on this button here. As long as it's not associated with an Act contact already, you'll be able to create that. All right, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and bring in some products. I would show off the Blue Star and ScanSource integrations, but their ScanSource and on their test site is having some problems, so I can't really show that off, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and bring in a couple of products. Do a small TV here, maybe a bundle. We'll go ahead and bundles, and we'll do our grill accessories here, so that way we can be out on the patio watching TV and grilling something here. And now what we can do is click on Save. And what we're going to do is create or update a sales opportunity, a linked document, follow-up call, meeting, and to do. So we'll click on OK. Now we'll go ahead and create a new opportunity. If we had an existing opportunity, we could select from that, and we'd be able to click on the button. It would bring us right to that contact or that opportunity inside of Act for Web, which is great. If we want to change our stage, we can do that. You'll notice if I change our sales fulfillment, you notice our probability will change. We've got our close date, any notes we want. If we've got a competitor, we can select. We can create a new one if we want to as well. We can schedule our call, maybe for next week. Maybe we need to have a meeting with the customer, and we could maybe have it for the beginning of the month. And okay. And lastly, maybe tomorrow we need to make sure the items are available, and click on OK. So now it just did a bunch of things with Act for Web. If we go to our links tab here, you'll notice that we have all these options now. We can view the opportunity. We can go ahead and view the ship to, bill to company if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and click on that. Sometimes Act for Web has some problems when it comes to logging in, so let's go ahead and click on Login here. Just wait for Act here. And let's try that one more time. Now that we've authenticated. And here we can see our different activities here. We've got our call and our meeting and whatnot. If we go under our opportunities, here's that opportunity that I just created. So if we click on that link, you'll see that we can go to our products and services, and then we've got all the products from the quote in QuoteWerks. It's pretty awesome. Also, you'll see that we have the activities as well as the document as well. If we were to send the quote to the customer, they would also receive, you'd see the PDF in here as well. All right. I think that was a good overview of some of the high-level features that we've got in builds 3 and 4. I wanted to also say, if you were going to IT Nation Connect, the way to get to some of the sign-up stuff, if you click on blogs at the top here, you'll see the block party. And to register for the block party, it's this link right here. If you want to schedule a one-on-one meeting, it's this link right here. So we made it very easy for you. Also, like I said before, if you go to support and updates, you can see all the different updates that we have in each build. So here's build 4 and build 3. So build 4 and then build 3. All right, so I kind of went through all of those. If you have any questions, surprisingly, I haven't received any questions here. There's quite a few of you in here, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask down below. And we'll just leave it open just for a few minutes here, as hopefully people have some questions. All right, so quiet bunch here. Yeah, so hopefully, like I said before, we'll have the next version of QuoteWerks coming out in the next few weeks. Definitely go to our website. You do have to be logged into our support forum to be able to post and have access to the feature request forum, but definitely post there if you have feature requests, and you'll see some really great things coming out in the next version of QuoteWerks. Just wanted to give it just a few more minutes just in case somebody does have any questions. Some things that you might notice on our toolbar here, we do have vendor RFQ, which is a good way to have communication with your vendors. We've had previous webinars and videos about that on our website, so definitely take a look at that. And also, if you use QuoteWerks Web, you have a very easy access to QuoteWerks Web right from the QuoteWerks interface there. We can go ahead and log in. My database here is hosted at our office as opposed to in our cloud database. So that's just taking a moment here. Oh, we did have a question here from Kit. To use Act for Web, what installs on the desktop? Basically, for QuoteWerks Desktop, you'd install the full version of QuoteWerks Desktop, and that's it. And during the install, you just say that you use Act for Web, and then you'll have access to Act for Web in the setup. You do, just like before, you do need to have the corporate edition of QuoteWerks, but that's it. It's really easy to use. Thank you, Patricia. All right, and so just if you've never seen QuoteWerks Web, I'll go ahead and just quickly open that last quote. Actually, let me go ahead and close it first. So we are checking to see if the document is in use, as it was. So as you can see, here's the quote that I just had open on my desktop. It's exactly the same, you'll notice, as what I had there. You do have the ability to do everything that you did on the desktop. You can move line items, you have access to your products. Obviously, you're gonna have different product sources, but basically, I still have access to like my Amazon Business, my Autotask service bundles. All of those are still here in the workbook. So I just wanted to show you that while we were waiting. So it looks like we don't have any other questions. We did record this webinar. So if you have any questions afterwards, definitely feel free to respond to that email that you'll be getting. question here from Candace. Can you still import Excel files in QuoteWerks Web? You won't be able to import an Excel file. You can save the Excel file as a CSV file or a tab delimited file, but then yes, you would be able to import that Excel file into QuoteWerks. If you're talking about linking to an Excel file, that would not be possible in QuoteWerks Web, only because that would be a physical file located not on the server, so it wouldn't be able to link to it. But when it comes, you do have the ability to import that Excel file. Good question, Candace. So like I was saying, you'll be getting an email from us with the link. Also, it'll be on our website and social media. So if there aren't any other questions, thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.